Welcome back, fellow gamers. So today I want to run down the basics of a Planeswalker card. So if you're new to Magic the Gathering, this video should be of some help to you. If you're a veteran Magic the Gathering player, you might not need this video, but do feel free to show it to people you want to introduce the game to, because Planeswalkers are, I'd say, probably the most exciting cards for newer players to play. They've got a lot of flavor, different abilities, and they're just generally fun to play, especially if you are just looking at unwinding and playing some Planeswalkers that might not be optimal in certain decks. These are the Planeswalkers that I'll be showing off today, and they each have different abilities that make them unique. Now, what I will be saying will apply pretty much to every Planeswalker that you could play, so if you're looking at wondering how to play a Planeswalker and it's not one of these three, don't worry, I'm just giving these three cards as an example, just to highlight differences that they have compared to a regular Planeswalker. Well, what's a regular Planeswalker? A regular Planeswalker would be something like, Liliana of the Veil. Now, to call her just a regular Planeswalker is not really fair to her. She's quite powerful. But when I say regular, she has, an ability that ticks up, another ability that ticks down, and she has her ultimate. That's pretty much the format that a lot of Planeswalkers utilize. So we'll just go ahead and break down the actual card itself. So you have the name of the card, obviously Teferi, Temporal Archmage. You have his cost, so he costs 2 blue and 4 mana of any color. His plus ability here means that you add loyalty counters onto him. He starts with 5 loyalty counters when he enters the battlefield. And this ability makes it so that he loses a loyalty counter. This one here makes it so that he loses 10. Now there are Planeswalkers that have Teferi, Temporal Archmage can be your commander. If you play commander / EDH, that means you can actually have him as the main guy in your deck that is put off to the side. Now you have the Planeswalker card type here and the name Teferi. So why does he have the name Teferi again? Well, that means that any other Planeswalker card named Teferi whatever, just as long as it has the other Teferi subtype, cannot be on the field at the same time under your control. So if you have a Teferi, and at this point in time in the game there is only one Teferi, but let's pretend there's 2 Teferis. Let's pretend this face down card is another Teferi and it just happens to be face up. When you would go to play it, you'd have to decide to sacrifice one of the 2 Planeswalkers. You ideally sacrifice the one you've just played so you can then play the other copy of Teferi and activate his abilities right away. So that covers Planeswalkers that can also be your commander. Well, what about a card like Arlen Horde? She's a pretty cool gal, right? Oh, that was corny. So she has an ability that ticks up, another ability that is actually a 0, so that means you have no change in your loyalty counters when you use the ability. But wait, it says transform Arlen Horde. So what does transform do? Well, it flips her around. Now notice here there are no starting loyalty abilities, because when she comes into play she has her 3, and if you use her 0 ability, the tokens that are on her transfer onto this card. Now in this case she does have an opportunity to transform back, so you would just flip her aside, and whatever amount of counters that you would have during that time, you would be good to go. So again, she has her plus, a minus, and a -6, her quote-unquote ultimate ability. Fairly cool general to play. Next, we have Kiya, Ghost Assassin. So why did I choose Kiya? Well, she has a 0 ability, and she doesn't have a way of giving herself loyalty abilities. So her 0 ability is exile Kiya, Ghost Assassin, or up to 1 target creature. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of your next upkeep. You lose 2 life. So that ability, once she leaves the battlefield, she will then come back on, and the amount of loyalty counters that she has in the far bottom right corner will indicate the amount that she comes back with. So because she is coming back onto the field, you then put her 5 loyalty abilities on. And then she has her -1 and -2. She doesn't have an ultimate ability on this card. So that is, in a nutshell, 3 special instances of Planeswalkers. Now, with that said, these cards are extremely fun to play with. I would suggest if you're a new player, don't stack your deck with too many Planeswalkers, especially Planeswalkers of the same type. One of these instances would be, or examples would be, a Liliana or a Garruk. Yes, I know it's pronounced Garruk, but I like to call him Garruk. So with that said, the reason that you don't want to do that is, as I mentioned, the ability here where if you're playing a Planeswalker that has the same name, you're effectively removing one of your Planeswalkers from the game or from the battlefield, making it so that you're losing your card advantage by just bouncing your own stuff and acting as a spot removal on your opponent's behalf. And that's it. That's the basics of Planeswalkers. I've run down each component of the card. Now hopefully that helps you make sense of what a Planeswalker card is. I know it can be quite daunting at first. What do these arrows mean? What do the numbers mean? If you're a new player, I completely get it. I started playing Magic when these things were just starting, and yeah, it was like, oh, this is cool, but I don't really know how to use it. Well, now that is out of the way, hopefully you'll get on your way and start using these powerful cards to win you some games. Thanks for watching. Now don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. If you'd like to see more, click on one of the 2 videos that are there, or click on show more in the description below to see when and what we upload, as well as when we stream. And if you need an update on what exactly we're going to be streaming that week, don't be shy to hit us up in the comments or reach out to us on Twitter. We'll be more than happy to chat. Until next time, good gaming.